more misbehaving. No more miss me not. No more misbehaving. Then I'll see what you have got. No more stormy weather. No more, that's for sure. No more stormy weather. I won't see you anymore. Bring it down. Bring it back forever. Bring it down on the ground. Safe and sound. Bring it back to never. Bring it down on the ground. No more secret talking. No more nails on top. No more secret talking. I don't think you'll ever stop. No more misbehaving. No more miss me not. No more misbehaving. Then we'll see what you are not. Bring it down. Bring it back forever. Bring it down on the ground. Safe and sound. Bring it back to never. Bring it down on the ground.
Symbols. I love it. I love it.
Symbols, 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 symbols.
Happy
I'm
Sunday.
ready.
Happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy
How
Sunday.
do we sound, everybody out there? You can put just go ahead and chime in the chat because there's been a day of technical difficulties, mostly on my part, which is unfortunate because all of the equipment
Is at
lives
your
in my house, right?
Exactly. I'm always just along for the ride. She's the brains of this operation, not me.
And hello already to our good friend, Mr. Joe Tanner, who said hello,
Joe.
hello to everybody that's watching on all of the variety of channels. Welcome to this week's edition of the Black Unicorn and the White Witch. I'm Miss Shannan. That's Tiffany Norton. My kiddo, Cyclone kid, will probably come in and out. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know how this. He says we sound hot. I mean, does that mean that my board's
Hot, like in
or
radio hot? That
Like I
means
should pull
too
it down?
loud?
Like should I pot us down? I don't. Like,
That's a radio term if you're not familiar, Joe. When someone says you're hot or the audio's
You're
hot,
looking
that means you're bouncing levels too high.
right.
You're,
We're
you're
like
too
if I was like
loud.
way up on here like that.
Get up on it. Right on
Way
top
up
of
on
it.
But I think he means we sound lovely, adorable, and beautiful.
I hope so. Clarify.
As a compliment.
Please.
As a compliment. We are glad to hear from you, Joe. So I
Yeah,
hope
you had
are doing
surgery.
well. Yeah, definitely. He's had a lot going on. I'm gonna change your background, Tiffany. How about that one? You like that one?
I like that one.
You
Okay,
like
cool. Now he says we sound cold.
That was
Now I sound like my mother. That's what
I
you're
sound
saying.
like a cold-hearted snake. That
We
was
sound both. We sound like both.
Yeah, exactly.
You're fine. You know what? You just dragged that leg right into the house. You're fine.
Got it. I got it. So yeah, so hope everybody had a decent week. Hello, Paul. Paul, I'm glad you're here because we are going to start today's show. Oh my God, wait, what?
You blew a cork at the nurse.
Is
that a metaphor?
Or do you mean that something during your surgery or something?
Or were you upset with her and you blew your cork like you got upset?
I'm interpreting that, and we continue to talk about this while he can explain. I'm interpreting that something that they thought was secured, unsecured.
Okay.
It would be unfortunate. And so I hope that is not the case.
God, I hope he's not at an HMO. They shouldn't be using corks. Haven't we evolved beyond this technology?
Yes.
I mean, they didn't leach it, did they?
That's not what we want. So Paul did that. So while Joe is explaining to us what actually happened to him during his heart surgery, I do want to say thank you to everybody that joined us for our first official comedy shorts and stand-up night brought to you by the Twin Cities Film Fest last week. Paul,
it was so fun.
Appreciated it. I have just a little bit of the video.
Oh, do you?
Doing that. Yeah. So just a little bit of the chaos.
And it's sold out.
There. Yeah.
So no pressure for us.
How about this? Here, we'll just play this.
Oh, yeah. This is,
So we we always like to talk about, we have a variety of games every week on our show. We also like to talk about world records quite often. So since one of the films was called Sugar Blasters, it's about cereal, it was cereal related, we came up with a cereal related contest. So you can see our 3 contestants that were there and they were competing. So here's what happened. They were trying to make the tallest stack related cereals.
Because Joey started licking him to try to get him to stick together like glue, which was not a bad strategy. Right. He's licking him. That's kind of smart.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The logic was sound, but it did not in the end help him at all.
It didn't, because our winner was Lisa Everson.
Yes, and she did a wonderful job.
Actress, stand-up comedian in town, and she won a multi-meal bag of generic mini wheats.
That's why I said mini wheats related.
Yes, ancillary. It's an ancillary wheat.
Right.
It's frosted. That's what I'm going to call it, ancillary wheat. That's going to be my new cereal.
I mean, Minnesota based, so that was okay. So that's fine. So, hello. Thanks for joining us, Cindy. I don't think I read that. We appreciate you being in the chat today, Cindy. Thanks for joining us. Okay.
Yes.
So let's see what was going on with Joe. Okay. I'm going to pull this up over here.
The nurse learned some new. They're not new to her.
I'm sure
she didn't learn any new words.
So
she feigned it.
Yeah, she feigned ignorance just because that's a de-escalation technique that they teach all of the nurses when you guys get all upset. So
they teach you that in Candy Striper school, I think.
Maybe.
Here's how you have that anymore.
I don't know, because I think they're just trying to work through as much empathy as possible because they know that you're in a difficult situation as a patient, Joe. So I'm glad that you are up and running and things are working. That'd be fine. So that's good. Yeah. So so our winner of the mini wheat-ish challenge that we had. Yeah. She wanted she is hoping that the win she would get a boyfriend. I don't know, Tiffany's not giving her.
Yeah, she's like, I've won this. I don't need a boyfriend now. That was
exactly. Yeah. So we're like, it'll be very comfortable for her. Kind of like we have scarecrows. So instead of filling them with straw, you can fill them with frosted mini wheats until the mice find them. So I think that's all. So we are going to have another one of those in September. So make sure you keep checking in. We're going to do another comedy shorts and stand-up comedy event at the Twin Cities Film Fest offices. First time viewer. Hello.
Oh my gosh. All right. First timer.
Cheers.
Ooh, cheers.
Cheers. I think I should give her here. I can give her this. Hear about this.
There we go.
Round of applause.
Cindy has stuck the landing. It's the Olympics.
Way, hooray.
I know. I guess our gymnastics team had a rough day.
They had a rough day. They're coming in second. They play second.
That's okay. Second's good.
Yeah, but they usually blow everybody away. So this is the first time in decades or something.
We're building some tension. I know they said since like 2010, it really has. It's been a runaway, but like we're building tension. And this is going to be so good for ratings.
They were already saying that this was the best U.S. Olympic squad ever, and so maybe they jinxed it.
And 2 girls from Minnesota.
Yay!
ICNT and St. Paul represented.
And cheers to Cindy as well. Cheers. Thanks.
I'm super excited. And the gal, I forget her last name, but yes, I mean,
we'll look them up.
Terrible lead. Sorry.
No, I think it's fine. We're allowed to be bad with names. There's a lot of, one of the biggest thing that I watched over the week is that they had during the open ceremonies, there was a best dressed and a worst dressed. They treated it like a runway. And the team from Italy made both best and worst.
Okay.
And both were and everybody, the general consensus is that they were sick of the US costumes because they're like Ralph Lauren makes the same thing every year. So yeah.
I feel like I love Ralph Lauren and I was a big fan for a really long time and I still like some of his stuff, but it's exactly like he only has 4. He was the kid who only had 4 crayons that they put in a plastic bag for kindergarten. Like everything is the same color.
Yeah, they say, and now it's just that we have so much of that they're going. Everybody's dressed like Karens in the Hamptons, just going,
correct.
And they look stuffy and weird and didn't like it. So, hello, Joel. Welcome to the chat. Thanks.
Hello, Joel.
Yeah. So, Cindy, just to let you know what we do here is, why am I echoing myself all of a sudden? I am not sure. I'll fix that in a minute.
I'll explain. Yeah. So what we do here is. Well, you've seen it. Basically, what we do is we film our phone calls that Shannon and I would have normally. And because Shannon and I both have a background and a love for pop culture and radio and what's happening. This is our way. And you know what? And we're operating outside the FCC. So it's a lawless paradise.
Correct.
We can discuss whatever we want. We do not have a program director or some person running it through a test group going, do you think this is good radio?
Yeah. And Cindy, I think we already are going to be best friends because I believe that Tiffany and I will both agree with you that we also enjoyed the no shirt guy. I believe he was from Tonga. I think that was part of the thing. Like he was quite oiled up and quite.
I would. You're talking about the collection of the best bodies on the planet in one place. And then they made the beds. We talked about it last week.
Yes.
Apparently I saw the Irish gymnast guy jumped on the beds and he said,
and he was fine.
Like, no problem. We can do it. But he's Irish. I'm Irish. We don't weigh that much.
And
We're wee people.
Clearly, there was lots of work around, so that's fine. So that's a lot of what we do, Cindy. Every week, we also normally have a question of the week, and then we recap what happened last week. Last week, we took kind of a left. Our question of the week last week was based upon the fact that some billionaires are going into space, and also the fact that there is a number of celebrities now that are on deck to go into space. So we had a story about Ashton Kutcher and Mia Kunis, and she had said, hey man, you don't need to go. So give up.
He got a ticket and she was like, you're not leaving the atmosphere with me and all these kids. And I saw them get interviewed on The View. They also have chickens. Those things get up early.
Yeah.
She's not doing it all herself. I'm a movie star too, kid.
I've had chickens. They are quite cumbersome as pets, quite cumbersome. So we changed our question of the week. What we were going to do was a little narrow. So now we change it to, what celebrity character would you like to go with you if you blasted off into space?
Yes.
So we had a couple votes for Vin Diesel, the Pitch Black. So not like Fast and Furious. Yeah, it was a second. A couple of
Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah,
one of his best.
Mm-hmm. So we thought that would work. We had a couple votes for Doctor Who. That would be very useful out there. They specifically said no Tom Hanks because things always go awry when he's touching the aircraft.
Yeah, Apollo 13 made it. He got off the island, but it was a long ride.
It's dicey. Carrot Top. I mean, Carrot Top has props, but I don't know if they are appropriate for going into space. Like,
he's ripped though.
Yeah.
God, he's in good shape.
True.
He could wrestle. He could wrestle some. He could wrestle some aliens.
Okay. All right. I did go with Sigourney Weaver,
Oh, perfect.
I thought
Right.
she was quite useful. So that was our question last week. We're going to get to a different question this week. Tiffany, I thought we'd start with some cute-ish stories and do a Twitter roundup. So the first one I wanted to talk about, and this one was surprisingly controversial. So we were talking about athleticism, of course, because of what's going on with the Olympics. And so there was a particular story about this tweet. These people had a dog, and it turns out their dog was not very athletic. And here's what happened
so
when they
cute.
tried to get their puppy.
I saw it, and then you sent it to me because I thought about sending it to you.
Yes.
And then you sent it to me, and I'm like, well, obviously we should talk about it because.
Okay, so here's what we'll show because not everybody agreed with us that it was cute. So here we go.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we've got dissenters. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Golden.
And then he's going over here.
Oh.
Aw. Buddy. He's got it though. He's got it. He's got, you know what? It's just like, okay. Have you ever seen any military movies where they go through basic training? You've got to get over the wall. He gets over the wall.
Well,
he has to struggle. It's just like Officer and a Gentleman where like Patrick or like what's his face has to come back and help her, Richard Gere, and help her over the wall. You know, that's all.
And our whole thing is that, okay, it's adorable, but you also do feel a little bad for the little buddy, but the little buddy's fine. So people are like, that's cruelty and it's this and that. And it's like, he's fine. He's like scooched over. He didn't like hurt his, and they're like, I saw it on the news and I thought he hurt his neck. I'm like, clearly the puppy's okay. That's like, if they wouldn't have put the video up, that's what makes it America's Funniest Home Videos is that we know that the outcome is fine.
They always have the dog in the audience or the kid that like
exactly
like totally whacked its head. They're like, look, here he is. He just has a little helmet.
Exactly.
It's fine. Give us the $100,000.
Right. Next time,
animal.
If he had the helmet ahead of time, then we wouldn't have to done the video. So chicken in the
I will say this. That was something that I revisited a lot during the pandemic when I was just like, just out of my mind. Like when I was unemployed and I lost my job, I'm like, I need some joy. And I don't know what it is, but America's Funniest Home Videos can bring me out of pretty much any depression. Just seeing the musical montages of like people getting hit in the nuts or like in the face or like, you know, everybody just pulling a rope
face
off
planting.
the dock and then the rope breaks and they fall into the water.
I think part of the reason why I find it joyful is, you know, I agree with you because I normally have an overabundance of empathy for certain things. So I'm like embarrassed on their behalf, but I can watch those and those epic fail videos, those compilations, because I know that the people are fine.
Oh, they're okay.
Exactly. They're okay. No harm, no foul. Nobody's, you know, kind of thing. It doesn't feel exploited because of that.
Right.
So
you give me one middle-aged chubby Midwesterner pulling in a boat and then the rope snaps and he totally does like the nest he plunge into the lake. That's gold. That's gold. I'm gonna smile for 10 minutes.
And then he's gonna stand up in the audience.
He's gonna stand up and he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's going to the fire pit that night. He's gonna have his hams. He's gonna walk it off. It's fine.
And all of his friends are laughing at him, and now he's the life of the party. And
my old man did that once. He was like, He jumped off the dock real fast. You know, obviously I got to be the captain and the anchor of this ship. And grabs up the rope and starts pulling. Well, it was stuck and the motor wasn't up yet. And the guy who was driving the boat trying to tell him, motor's not up yet. You can stop pulling. When I put the motor up, old man, don't be telling me.
Don't tell me. I got
physics
this.
And science and how things. And so, and the rope snapped, and he did. He just one of these. He would have gotten a 0.0 in the Olympics for like if you're doing like platform diving. He really and
like a backwards belly flop. Is that what it was? Just like
it was the opposite. It was a back flop. He back flopped.
Yeah, exactly.
He back flopped completely with the shoes. And you know, the old man had a comb over, so it was all wet. Now people knew about the hair and because he'd been fooling pretty much everybody up until that
really
point.
Oh yeah, of course, wink my favorite part of it is the sputtering that happens after a person falls into the water when they come up and they're like I'm like, okay, the lungs are still working. We're allowed to laugh. So hello to you, Velma. Thanks for joining us this Sunday. Hope that the week treated you well.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, Velma. Cheers. Cheers. So the next thing is, hey, sometimes art imitates life and then life imitates art. And so Tiffany found this particular tweet about some cops in Philly. I think it was actually.
Yeah, Philadelphia. Yeah.
All right, so we'll show this up because basically this was a joke to get some people to stop at this particular bar.
Right. They were like, they just put the sign up.
Mm-hmm.
There were, it says, of course, slow down. The cop hides behind the sign.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing it. So yeah, like you were saying, like, so that to just get people to pause, look at the sign, da 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 da.
Right.
Then the cops.
The cops are like,
they're funny.
Good idea. So I think sometimes you inadvertently help them do their job. So don't do that. Let them figure it out on their own. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Now the cops are just like right there. But here's the thing. The fish fry is on Friday from 1 to 6. I bet that's really kind of the only time the truck's there.
Probably.
Who doesn't like a good fish fry?
True. There's something nostalgic about it. Even though I have fish on days other than Fridays, because it's not my religious thing. But still, There's something about extra delicious about the Friday fish. Maybe because it's holy.
It's better,
holy.
Yeah. It's holy. Friday fish day. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe
but I do appreciate this kind of sense of humor better than when they used to have the cops dancing a couple years ago. Like that, I wanted to kind of throw up a little bit in my mouth every time. Just because, like, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way to law enforcement. I just mean it in a way where I'm like, don't be cutesy now.
The only thing about it, I liked it, is when they were hanging out with little kids and they were using it as a community building thing.
Well, of course, yes.
When they're
trying to come up with their own dance steps and they're trying to do the whole thing, like, I will stand behind principals that write songs and terrible, terrible raps to the fact that they're closed because of too much snow or cold weather. I loosely stand by you. But
I think I just have a longer fuse for cutesy educators than I do for cutesy law enforcement.
Thank you. That's what I mean. Like it's
yeah. There's just some jobs where you're just like, no, unless it's like I even liked it, when it was, you would see things from all of our nurses and those kind of things. I'm like, cool. I want them to have a stress releaser. I for some reason, when I'm looking at a cop, I'm like, you should be reading some manuals or something like that. Or like there should be so I agree with you.
Don't you have paperwork? There's an inordinate amount of paperwork involved with your profession.
Yeah.
Why do you have this much time?
I don't even know why we're so anti them in their fun time, but maybe because you know what? I used to also hang out at this one bar that had a lot of off-duty cops. So I was like, and just listening to them grouse afterwards, I think poisoned me on what I think they're cool doing in their free time. Like if I didn't have that peek behind the curtain,
right,
then I'd probably be like, yeah, go kick it. I hope you end up on American Idol, law enforcement, kind of thing. And now
I have the same thing. I have a degree in law enforcement. A lot of my friends, a lot of the people I was in college with for 4 years went on to do that. And so also the peek behind the curtain, and it's like it's fine.
Yeah, you need to go.
But I don't. Anyway.
I get it. So, all right, our next story. Okay, so I read most of this, Tiffany, and thought it was adorable. But you're the one that sent me this, and it was about this guy who picked up a side hustle, like a lot of people did, during the pandemic.
Right. And
this dude was out cleaning houses, right? And I thought, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had recently moved to South Jersey. And he basically, during the quarantine, he was trying to look for ways to make money. He had expenses in that. And so he had reached out to a very small group because he had just moved there.
Right.
Of people and offered to clean their homes and did a great job. He talks about how therapeutic he finds it is. And I absolutely 100% agree. Like there is
part of it very cathartic.
So gratifying about when something's a mess and you can bring order to it in like a few hours and then leave and be like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's perverse, but anyway.
No, I think it's great. As someone who hires a person that comes and helps them clean every 2 weeks, I applaud.
I get a lot of joy out of it.
Yeah. And she, we talk and she's groovy on the whole thing. And there's just certain things where I'm like, she's got her headphones on. She gets in this little Zen space. And I was like, well done. I appreciate that she does it. So I can get that. So this guy, though, what went awry.
Well, go ahead.
They gave him the address and they said there'll be a key under the mat, right?
And it's important to this story that this was the first time he really wanted to do a good job, because this is the first time he was being recommended to a stranger.
Correct.
This was not someone he had already met. This was his first real referral. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna clean the shit out of this place.
Right. He's crushing it.
Absolutely. Everything. Okay.
And then instead, he's there. He's like, I Swiffered, I swept, I vacuumed, I fluffed all the pillows, I cleaned the stove, I did the bathroom. And then the family calls him and they say, Lewis, did you come today?
Right.
To clean the apartment? And he's like, yeah, I'm here right now.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the couch with your cat. And they say, Lewis, we don't have a cat. Because Lewis is in the wrong place. 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. He cleans this little apartment.
Yes.
2.5 hours. Spotless. And apparently what had happened was he got the digit wrong. He thought a 7 was a 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just so happened these people were expecting a contractor. So they put a key under the mat, which was the instructions he got. So when you walk up and then the instructions match what you told they were going to be, you start cleaning.
Yeah.
And so, because they were like, someone broke into the house and cleaned it. That's what the wife called the husband. And they're like, that doesn't seem like Jersey, but okay.
So he is now TikTok famous. You can find him as @StayScrewy on there. He is also thinking about branching out his business and calling himself the Cleaning Fairy.
Yes.
He just walks in.
Yeah. He just walks in. He just materializes. You know what? That would be really funny. Like, but also too, you could get into a lot of trouble with your girlfriends. It depends if they have a sense of humor or not.
Right.
Hiring a cleaning lady to just come over and clean someone's house could be a really good thing. Like, some of your friends would be like, oh my God, thank you so much. That's the best thing ever. And then other people are like, oh, you don't,
what you trying to say?
You don't think I can clean?
My house is dirty. You trying
I'm dirty? Oh, I need a, like, that's some Real Housewives shit right there.
You can send the cleaning fairy to my house. I won't take it personally. Kind of thing. I will not get mad.
Especially him. He was adorable. Anyway.
Oh yeah, he is quite cute.
He's very, and good for him. And I love that. And anyway.
Tiffany, I have 2 more stories before I think that I have to go extra mom right now.
Yeah, because it's almost pizza time. Or
it's almost pizza time. Well, he had the pizza. I would have got the pizza would have burnt up by now. So, but he's always like, my mom. It's been yes, my mom.
Oh, I hear it. No, I hear it.
Yes, my mom day here, kind of thing. And so I'm like, he doesn't want to come in here, so I'll just finish that. I agree with you, Paul. I wouldn't mind having somebody come and get my house clean for free.
Absolutely. But it's weird if you didn't ask for someone to come and clean your house and someone just shows up and you're like,
if you showed up and there was an explanation and you couldn't have somebody go, hey, the cleaning fairy came and it was sent by Susan, you would be like, who touched all my things? It would feel very
right.
I agree.
And even if it was, even if it was a service where it's like, okay, you keep your key out and then suddenly someone just comes one day, like it's random. That would also be weird.
Right. So Tiffany, here's the story. I'm gonna, before we get to Victoria's Secrets, I do want to do this one just because, man, it never occurs to me how, when you see something weird, that maybe you should document it and see what's happened. So recently, this 13-year-old girl in, I believe, Australia. So this 13-year-old girl in Australia was going through a bag of Doritos, and she found something that I did not know was this rare. She found a puffy Doritos chip, and
it's a pastry.
Instead of just eating it, you can see it there in the picture. She put it up on social media and said, hey, maybe I should put it on eBay or what I should do. And she was going to, because things before that were like odd food shaped and things have actually gone viral before. So she throws it up on social media. And the Doritos people were like, we're so proud of you and your entrepreneurial spirit. They gave this girl $20,000 as a reward for finding this rare puffy Doritos chip.
Okay.
So imagine if you've seen one, and I haven't, but how many of us would just go, especially when I eat Doritos, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm not sitting there looking at them, all this stuff. I'm crunching them all up. So the fact that she had the wherewithal.
Yeah, you probably ate in the last year $100,000 worth of chips, and we don't even realize it. Like it's probably a small fortune. This is also why none of our children want to work. Do you understand? Like, no, I'm gonna wait around for the sweet, weird the Doritos money, and you buy the Doritos, and I'll just keep looking in the bag.
Because they're like,
it's weird. It's weird. It should be a scholarship. You shouldn't give a 13-year-old girl $20,000 for finding a freaking chip in a bag. I mean, there should be some kind of like the $20,000 is in a remote island that you have to navigate towards.
Or they'll start her maybe a little. I like your scholarship idea or some sort of
scholarship. And maybe if she wants to study the Dorito arts or something,
she can be a master of the Dorito arts.
But everybody wants to just make money online.
Yeah.
It's like, well, clearly, I mean, obviously we're steering the head of the ship of a real cash cow here.
Oh yeah.
You
noticed everybody.
Super easy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the fingers. You find the right Dorito, you're bankrolled, kids.
I'll put this up here. All right. We'll put
there you go. Yeah, helped us. Don't even send us money. Send us puffy Doritos. So we can just
that's worse than them sending us porcelain.
If we get 20 grand for it, we'll split it with you.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And then we'll name you as like a proprietor of the Black Unicorn and the White Witch.
We share. All right. Before we get to our question of the week story, Tiffany and I both have a very complex relationship with Victoria's Secrets. And Victoria's Secrets right now is really trying to quote unquote
stay alive.
Well, exactly, because the thing is that people have been bitching about Victoria's Secrets for a really long time. And
and those people are called women.
Right.
Women, your target audience. Yes.
And then when we first started bitching about it 15 years ago, they're like, no, you guys just don't see our vision and I'm the bad person, and that was
because you're not 6 feet tall and 112 pounds.
Right. And so they finally, because they've lost oodles of money, have decided that they're going to rebrand. And part of that rebranding is that they're like, okay, we're going to get rid of the angels, like that stupid fashion show that they did every year. They're going to rebrand, and they're saying they're going to have more curvy, right-sized products for the real woman. So here's the thing. One, I kind of think that when I looked at this, it's too little too late, because they're still their biggest size, and they're saying that they're trying to do all this stuff. Their biggest size now, Tiffany, according to what I saw, is a size 14, which is the bottom of the national average. So, I mean, the average, and we can talk about from a greater perspective what the healthy side and what the body positivity side of things are. Right. And you know that we're both hashtag body positivity on our thing. But the fact that, the top end is now 14 and they consider they're doing this a great service to all of us, it's still not enough. And they look, hey, buddy. So they changed their, they have some more muted colors. They changed.
Well, of course they muted the colors. Of course, because you shouldn't be proud of your body. You should mute it. You should definitely mute it. No, seriously.
Look at these. Look at
the reason why I have, and the reason why I have my beef. They don't.
Right.
That's the reason why I worked at Victoria's Secret for many years when it was very, very new and hot. It was a part-time job I had during the summer and Christmas break when I was in college. I would go work retail. Right. I worked at the Roseville, thing. Here's the thing. I'm well endowed. You're well endowed. But even when I was younger, I mean, I'm 30 pounds heavier than I was back then. But for whatever reason, I don't know why genetically I got it. But I've always been at least probably a C, but at least a D for most of my life, right? Mm-hmm. D was the only thing they carried. And there was 3 of them. And they were god awful. They were basically, I might as well just take, duct tape and nothing fit anybody. And that was the biggest problem. And I never wanted to fit bras. They always wanted to train me to fit bras. I was like, this is too personal. And you know what? Half the shit that's here is not going to fit you. It's
And
not.
for me, it was a matter of, like them straddling that line of like, if you wanted something really sexy that was ridiculous, you would go to Fredericks of Hollywood. Or if you wanted something that actually would work for a woman who was, for me, it's always been curvy. So I'm like, I thin out in, even when I was weighed significantly less, I was still curvy.
Oh
and
gosh.
So
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily work. And so the fact that they were shaped for basically, and you had to be shaped like this.
Yes.
That's it.
You had
And
to be
that
straight up and down. You had to basically, and you know what? And body positivity to everybody who's thin and tall and thin. And that is a great look for you because they did help for that aspect because they really made the thong okay for people that don't have a butt like me because like all that extra fabric actually doesn't help me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, it was very linear what you could have, literally and figuratively.
And I also, the thing that I had with the issue is that when people would voice concerns about their products, they would say, well, that's because you don't understand the fantasy that we're creating. So they were determining that the only thing that was viable as a fantasy, as far as from a feminine form, was their
man liked it.
Yes, exactly. If a man,
not a woman,
and this is
not
what
yourself.
Instead of if I feel sexy, I am sexy, like the lot of mantras that you and I preach, and yes, preach, that it is a matter.
I love that you pulled out the shade fan right now. That's right.
Right. Because I'm looking at this and I'm super still like, you don't get my money because they still didn't do enough. Right. And so why am I going to suddenly go in there? Because they're baiting me in. But then I know that still 60% of the people that go in there are not going to be able to find anything that they want. And I'm supposed to give them a premium because if I am going to buy something on the sexy side of stuff, I'm going to give the money to the websites and the brands that I've already been, because all of those brands, they have, like, when I buy my clothes, like on, Dress Lily, that website I really have, they have the lingerie stuff. I've sent you pictures where I'm just like, today I look sexy. I don't have anybody else to wear it for.
Good stuff. And here's the thing. When Victoria, and we'll leave it at this, but I will say this. When Victoria's Secret began, and this is what happens a lot of times when things get corporatized. When they began, they had a 100% bra guarantee. You were allowed to bring your bra back and they would fix it. And they actually had seamstresses that would do it back in the 80s and 90s. So if you bought it, and if you bought $100 bra, but like it started falling apart, or the hooks got bent or whatever, and it wasn't working right, if you had the receipt and you could bring it in, and you could only bring it to the store that you bought it at, or one that was assigned to cover it, they would actually at one point fix it on site. And then beyond that, then they sent it to a tailor and then they would fix it. Now, that is why I was interested in it, because I'm like, wow, it's not disposable.
That's a value.
It would be amazing if someone would do that. We would all pay $200 or $300 for a bra if we knew we could just, and it was the one that looked great, and we could just get it serviced like our tires. Exactly. Why do we got to go into this weird forest every goddamn time when we need a new bra? Like now I got a line here because one's too high, or what? I don't know.
That's why all mine are on. I just send
especially if you don't have even boobs. Not everybody has even boobs. I don't have even boobs.
Right. Most people don't. Very few of us are. Very few people are symmetrical. So I just send money away online, and then Honey Love sends my stuff back.
Maybe I shouldn't have said this out loud, because I mean, there's like 7 or 8 people that just heard my awesome business idea.
Oh, well, that's all right. We have now proof that you came up with it first. So
I came up with it first. Copyright, trademark, hashtag. Hashtag uneven boobs. It's my new line. Speaking
of hashtags and trademarks, that brings us to our question of the week. And this is a Minnesota-based story. Minnesota-based story. So if you are from the state of Minnesota and you've ever gone to a number of our bars here, and even at the Renaissance Festival, you may be familiar with the game.
I've been to the Renaissance Festival, but it was more like a guy's backyard.
Yeah,
it wasn't really a fair.
It was a different. It
was like a bonfire.
Right.
Things were said. Anyway, go on.
Hammerschlagen. You see that whenever you see a bunch of people standing around a big log and they're banging nails into it, that's Hammerschlagen.
Only if you're using the the pointy end
A
of
mallet.
a well, it's a, oh God, now I'm gonna forget what kind of a mallet. Yeah, it is.
It's a particular mallet, but it turns out that, and we didn't know this until we read this article, that this popular bar game is actually copyrighted by a company. And so they have been slowly
ball
suing.
peen hammer. It's a ball peen
There we
hammer.
go.
It took me a second.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, Paul, I had it before you typed it. I knew that. I was like, it's bothering me. It is bothering me. It is bothering me. I know it's a ball peen hammer. I've played Hammerschlagen a lot.
Oh,
even
no.
though I'm Irish and I generally don't socialize with Germans if I can help it as an Irishman.
And Paul,
but, they're better than the English. Okay,
do not buy your lingerie from Wish. Wish will try and sell you lingerie. It'll take 6 months to get there, and it'll be itchy. It'll be itchy. That's all I'm saying. So back to
polyurethane, probably. Go ahead.
Correct. Not BPA free for sure. The thing about it is that Hammerschlagen was actually a game that was created by a particular gentleman back in the day. Then it's been updated. It's a family thing, and it's copyrighted.
Yes.
And there's a license. And so basically, anytime you use it at a bar, you are supposed to get a license, and you can have this license that is then updated every year. So,
it's a game. But I think if you're actually a licensed participant in it, they provide the correct log because it's got to be oak, and they provide the correct nails, and they provide the multiple ball peen hammers. Right. So it is a game. It's just that it's a game that's very easy for anybody in the Midwest to replicate.
So I guess if they call it, this is the reason where this particular bar got in trouble, is they called it Hammerschlagen. And that was since they called it the name, and then they were saying, hey, if you want to play, it costs $2. Now the company's like, nah, man.
And it's slightly more than that because they had licensed the Hammerschlagen people. Right. And they let the license lapse during COVID, which is fine. But then if you're going to start it up again and you knew you're under a contractual obligation and then you're not going to give them a cut.
I love this part of the story, Tiffany. There was this other bar that they sued them because they said that they had counterfeited the Hammerschlagen stump. Yeah. So it wasn't official. Yeah. So
I think Cyclone Kid and you and I just need to come up with a really cool game that is just with housing supplies.
I was looking
around I don't know, like a coffee can and
because it has to be something that we can kind of say it's historical. So I'm trying to think what grandpa and grandma Paul maybe had lying around the house that I could say.
Throw the ring around the chicken's neck.
That would work. Yeah.
It's not. Okay, we'll find a better title. We'll work it out. But if you can throw a hula hoop around a chicken's neck.
I'm trying to think. So if anybody has any suggestions,
chicken nicking or something.
Chicken nicking, that kind of works. It sounds like
chicka baum baum.
I thought maybe since we already have the Black Unicorn and the White Witch, we need to come up with a card game.
Well, we do. Yeah, we do.
So we could do that, right?
Oh, Mr. Man. Dominic, come say hi. Come say hi.
Want to say hi?
Say hi to Auntie Tiffany. He's like, this is always his face when he sees me.
He said later bye. He said later bye already.
He said later bye. Hey, Dominic, can I say later bye in 2 minutes? Mommy's going to ask one question.
Yeah, he said
2 minutes.
He said it like this, I'm watching.
All right. No, he's like the new vice president at the bank. Oh my God. I have a new boss and he's younger than me and he drives a Tesla. Just saying. All right. That's for another time.
Oh yeah.
Let's get our question of the week.
I'm sure here. So if you could have any game what game would you create and why? So if you could create any game. So if there's something that you love to do, let us know. This is a good way for you to get it out there into the ether. So if anybody else comes up with it, you can say, nope, I had it first. So we are going to come with our Black Unicorn and White Witch card game. Maybe it'll be the next cribbage or Cards Against Humanity. We'll come up with that. So if anybody else has there and they want to get it out there into the ether, you can let us know. You can also put it in the chat if you're watching the replay, and we will be happy to let the universe know that you have it. So if we ever see it at a bar, you get to sue them like the
Yes.
Hammerschlagen people.
We
And you
got to get it online. We all of these episodes live. And
Mhm.
please like and subscribe to us on our socials and that kind of deal. But because when we love restream, and so this stuff gets posted to our pages. So you can go back and rewatch, you can share it with a friend. And but honestly, like just message us privately. Like let's blow this up. Because I'm really sick of kids finding Doritos and getting 20 grand.
Right. We should be getting paid too. Let's work this out. So we are here to help all of you. So again, if you, as Tiffany said, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Some of our friends like Paul out there, they've done a great job of helping us out.
Yes.
By posting the episodes.
We need help.
Yes. Oh gosh. Yeah. I am not afraid to ask for help. Speaking of help, if you want to see Tiffany and I in person, we have a show coming up this Wednesday. You'll be able to see us both.
Wednesday.
Yes. And so it's gonna be great. It's always, we get to hang out with our friend Sarah McPeck and some other amazing comedians.
Brewing. Minneapolis. If you haven't been, first of all, I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't been there in a couple weeks. If the Mosaic IPA is still on tap, get it.
Get that.
Get it. I'm an IPA hop freak, and it is really, really good.
Noted.
It's the only time. That's one of the only breweries I drink in. Because I've got that one beer that's really close to the notes that I love in my Chardonnay. And now that I said all that, it's probably off tap. But they're really, really good beers.
I've been doing the hard cider there is what I've been doing. So there's an even
you
if
don't like the beer. You don't like the
beer, but they do have things.
I like good beer. I don't like beer. I like good beer. Good beer. I will drink good beer.
So I just put the link in the chat. You can still get your tickets. It's only $10. So you can see us both, and then you can see a whole.
I love that picture of you two in the flyer because I remember that photo shoot. That was super fun. Shannan was getting all bunchy at one point. I'm just gonna say this and we'll leave. Shannan was getting all bunchy at one point. And I could tell she was super in her head and she was worried about how she looked and whatever. And so we were in the other room changing. No one else was offended. So don't blow up the chat.
Right.
So I just flashed her my tits. I'm like, laugh. And then we went out and we got that shot. And then we got that shot. I'm like, it's not that serious.
And by the way,
if you show your tits, have big hair.
Yeah.
Wear bold colors.
Right. Do all those things.
March 4th.
If you need a photographer, real quick, shout out to our friend Dallas Smith.
Dallas is great. And it was funny too, because there was another the part was funny about the story though, is because there was another shoot going on and they didn't understand why. That was the reaction that was happening in that particular room. They were like, we only saw 3 girls walk in there, and wow, it sounds it sounds like maybe a rave, and we didn't get invited. No, you did not. No, you didn't. You were not invited.
So we always appreciate Dallas. She took both of our headshots recently, and all the pictures that you see us focus on during the Black Unicorn and the White Witch podcast. So make sure you check that out. And
I have to honor and be a good auntie. We said a couple minutes. He's been 2 minutes. He's been good. He's been good. All right, bye, Mr. Dominic. Can you come here? Can you say goodbye? Can you say goodbye to everybody?
Say we're gonna go have chicken nuggets.
Say, come to the microphone. Come say goodbye. Come to the microphone. Come say goodbye to everybody.
He went by. He's like, I love it. He's like, mom's the ham.
I will not be manipulated by you. I will not.
Exactly.
I will not. All right.
But I am happy to be manipulated by you, Tiffany. So
I think we should. All right. Well, all right.
I love everybody. I love everybody in the chat. And Tiffany,
thank you everybody for joining us. That was amazing.
Are you in town?
When we didn't shout out Velma. There was a couple people we didn't shout out. Caroline.
Yes.
Cindy. Yeah. We got we had new people. And we had, return visitors, and we appreciate all of it.
So, Tiffany, are you in town next weekend, or when are you on vacation?
No, I'm going to the Wisconsin Dells. I'm going to be reporting on location.
Oh, are you? Okay.
From the Wisconsin Dells. You tell me where you want me. Do you want a waterfall? Do you want me to sit next to a redneck in a half shirt? What do you want? Because it's all available at the Wisconsin Dells.
Water.
I know, but the sound is tough at a waterfall. But I will. I mean, like,
Anybody watching, you have all week to vote. Redneck neck and a half shirt or waterfall. And I will
I can definitely find a redneck and a half shirt.
Right.
Wisconsin Dells. But
Okay.
I can also probably find really nice chocolates. It's that kind of a place.
Right. So you guys, whatever you would like to see Tiffany post up next to when she's out there. So in the meantime, we hope everybody. I would love to go to the Wisconsin. Oh, well, Paul, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. You need to get over there. It's lovely.
There's Paul.
Yeah.
Is he in the cities?
Yeah, Paul lives here.
Yeah,
Just go
babe,
over
it's not far.
Yeah.
That's not far.
We'll send you. Oh, we already have one vote for redneck and a half shirt. Okay, we will
That might be my first comedy album name. Redneck and a half shirt.
We will curate all of those votes between now and next week. So everybody, we hope you have a great time. Again, if you are listening to us in the replay, let us know what you like about the show. Please like and subscribe.
And don't tell us what you don't like about it.
Fair
Save
enough.
that for your
We don't
kids.
need that right now. Yeah.
Save
So
that.
all right.
Yeah, we don't need that negativity.
So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
My whole life trying to find someone who'll take a little time to see that maybe I'm not worthless. But all my plans fell far from good, and all my words were misunderstood. Start to think that maybe I deserve this. When my lucky stars crashed to the ground, and the hands of fate were all about. Heard a voice say you're not alone. When calamity began to compound, the whiskey rain stopped pouring down. That voice said I'm not on my own. Oh, it was you. It was you. Walk the streets and search for clues, trying to shake the sidewalk blues. Wanna feel like I won't fade away. Every next step that I take, the broken piece starts to bend and shake. So I sat down and prayed for rain. When my lucky stars crashed to the ground, the hands of fate were tightly bound, and a voice said, you're not